Let's take a look at the integration of Datameer Cloud and ThoughtSpot. Datameer is a Snowflake native solution that allows users to perform no-code and low-code transformations within Snowflake. Users have the ability to leverage Datameer's search interface to access and discover assets within Snowflake, apply the no-code and low-code transformations using Datameer's point-and-click interface, as well as leverage a rich SQL editor to apply data transformations. Users then have the ability to publish these transformations as Snowflake views or tables. In this example, we'll look at the integration of Datameer and ThoughtSpot, which both use Snowflake natively as their backing store. We'll look at a dashboard in ThoughtSpot and have a new question arise which requires data engineering within Snowflake. We'll look at how non-technical and data engineers alike can use Datameer's easy-to-use interface to prepare and transform the data to be consumed by ThoughtSpot. Let's take a look at a live board in ThoughtSpot. So here I have some various dashboards for consumer packaged goods data. So here we're looking at sales by week, store location, sales by day of the week, and the top brands that are in inventory at various stores. So inevitably in business intelligence, new questions arise. And so in my example, what I'm looking to do is to correlate the spending by brand. So see how much consumers are spending on various brands. So the first step is to go to answers within ThoughtSpot. And here I can go to the brand description and then the transaction amount. But if I try to correlate those two aren't actually related. Within ThoughtSpot, they're in two separate tables. So our first try is we can go into the data sets themselves. So I'm going to go into the transactions data set and then join and set up a join. So what I'll do is I'll add a join between the transactions data set, so that's the UPC array, and I'm going to join that to the products data set by the UPC as well, specify a one-to-one. We'll go ahead and create that join, and then that will relate the two tables within ThoughtSpot. So now I can go back to the answers, and then I can try again. So I'll go with brand description and then the dollar amount, and we'll go ahead and search on that. Doesn't look like we have any matching rows for that to correlate brands to spending. So what we can do is have a look at the data. So let's jump into transaction and look at the data samples. And here we can see the UPC code is actually a nested column. So we've got name value pairs nested within a single database column, something not uncommon. However, at this point, we're going to require some data engineering on the database side. So we can then jump into Datameer. And so here is our project workspace. And then I have two data sets, transaction and product. This sits right on top of Snowflake. So here's all of our schemas and tables here on the left. Here's the data preview. Also bringing in a metadata layer, so descriptions, tags, custom attributes, business glossary terms. But here we can go ahead and start to do the data engineering, the transformations. Here's that UPC array column. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is to go ahead and add a column split. And I'm going to split based on the pipe delimiter, and we'll split out to 5 values. We'll go ahead and hit apply, and then that will apply that split, and then I have 5 new columns within there based on that. The UPC code is right there. We still have to extract the value out of there. So we can add another step to our recipe and do a column extract. And the source column is going to be that third value that was split out,
and we'll call this UPC code, and it's actually index 7 to 40 is the actual code itself. So that will then derive that new column based on that column split. So there's our UPC code. I could see the purchase amount there. So there is, it's kind of a string and it's also a name value pair. So we need to extract that decimal value out and then cast that to a float. So I'm going to go ahead and add a formula builder step to our recipe here. Go ahead and bring that column in, and I'm just going to paste in a quick formula here. So there I'm just taking that column and applying a few functions to it, thus extracting that decimal value. So 100% of the Snowflake functions are available to us in here, so we can write any kind of Snowflake functions, user-defined functions. Anything is then passed through to Snowflake. So we'll go ahead and call that purchase amount, and now we have a nice float value that we can then do our business intelligence on. I will go ahead and hit apply, and that will add that step to my recipe. Now I can go ahead and relate these two tables. So I'm going to relate transaction to product. So I'm going to go ahead and do a new join, and I'm going to join the data set that I transformed to product. And what we do is we go ahead and we show you the two column sets that are ready to be joined. And I'm going to go ahead and click Get Suggestions because Get Suggestions will run some similarity metrics on the columns themselves and choose the best columns that might be a match and attempt to score it. So we look at column names, data types in there. We run similarity metrics on there. I'm going to go ahead and select the UPC code. That's pretty much what we want to join on. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. And then that will bring up that new step. So at this point, I think I'm ready to, now that we've transformed the data, join it together, now we can go ahead and finish our visualization in ThoughtSpot. But first I've got to materialize this because Datameer materializes everything as tables. So in contrast to maybe applying a formula and have it be a virtual element inside of the BI layer, this actually transforms it and materializes it in the data warehouse itself. So what I can do is go ahead and hit publish to Snowflake, and then we can publish as a view, which is writing the SQL to Snowflake, or I can materialize it as a table. That's what I'm going to do in this case, and I'm going to publish that into Snowflake. So I'll go ahead and publish that into that schema there, and then click Publish Data, and then that will actually, as I said, materialize the data straight away within Snowflake as a table, and we can see here in my lineage, in fact, that is indicating that it is then published. We can also go ahead and schedule that. So I can enable the scheduler, and I can schedule this to be refreshed, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday within Snowflake. That's actually published as a native Snowflake task. So again, completely utilizing all the native functionality within Snowflake. And at this point, we can go ahead and now jump back into ThoughtSpot. So now we can see here the tables available to ThoughtSpot, and now we have that transaction product ABC table available. And we can see the handoff between Datameer and ThoughtSpot is quite seamless, as we're both using Snowflake natively for our backing stores. And so here we can go into answers, and now I should be able to go ahead and start up a new search. And here we go ahead and search on brand, and we see that brand description coming up for the table that Datameer had published, and we can now relate that to purchase amount. So we can see the customer spending overall by brand. So again, here we saw the complete circle of being in ThoughtSpot, looking at a live board, having a new question come up, and then ultimately having some data engineering at Snowflake required to answer that question, but using Datameer to do the full round trip in just about 10 minutes, due to the fact that Datameer uses Snowflake in a native means, and publishes all transformations and data preparations as native Snowflake SQL or published tables that ThoughtSpot can then consume. Thank you.